Hey everybody, this video is going to walk you through getting set up with GitHub, setting up two-factor authentication, which is now required, as well as getting you a token so that you can sign in and push code from your local machine to your GitHub repositories. To do that, just go to github.com and click sign up in the top right. You have this nice little prompt. I just click to make it go faster. Enter your email. So continue. Oh, looks like I've already signed up with this one. Let me use another one. Where's my throwaway? Create a password. Username. Do you want to receive product updates? No. Verify your account. So start the puzzle. Pick the spiral galaxy. Man, they're getting all kinds of fancy now. So let me get that code. I'm going to skip the personalization. And then you get this nice little intro video. And there we go. You land on your dashboard like this. And one thing you might consider doing is to read the guide, do the Get Started guide. It's actually very good. It walks you through how you can use a repository, how you can work with branches. So it walks you through not just GitHub, but Git itself. And how you can use GitHub with Git, because GitHub is like an integration with Git. It's a cloud for Git. So you can do that if you so desire. I personally am just going to work on setting up two-factor authentication, because you have to have two-factor authentication based on because you have to have two-factor authentication to do pretty much anything. So in order to set up two-factor authentication, you have to pick. Well, there's different ways you could do it. I recommend using a TOTP mobile app, a time-based one-time password. If you've used like Blizzard, the Blizzard Authenticator before, or anything like that, it's the same type of deal. The one I like is Authy because it's free. If you use 1Password already and you're already paying for that, or for LastPass or something, you can use those. You're welcome to. I like Authy, so I'm going to use Authy. But again, you can use whichever one you like. So what you do is you basically just install the app from whatever, either the App Store or the Google Play Store or whatever device you have, and then you just follow these directions. Oh, it looks like you have to go somewhere else now. Is it settings? Did they change it? Yeah, account security. So it's in settings, account security, and we want to enable two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication is an extra layer of security. We're going to set it up using an app, not SMS. We're going to use an app. That's highly recommended. If you have to use SMS, you can, but the app is better. So continue. Scan the image below with your app. If you can't use a QR code, enter this text code instead. For example, if your camera on your phone is broken or something, you can just type that in to the app. I'm going to add an account. I'm going to enter the code manually because my phone, the camera is actually broken. So I'm just following the prompts on my phone to set it up. And now that it is done, I'm going to continue. So this app is now giving me a 6-digit code. So let me put that in. And I don't mind showing you this code because it is time sensitive, so by the time you see this, it will have changed. That's the joy of these. These are recovery codes, which obviously you cannot see. I'm going to block them because they are like workaround codes. Make sure that you back these up, save them, download them, save them somewhere safe. I like to put them in multiple cloud storage accounts. That way, in case you lose access to one, you still have access to another one, but that's up to you. And then finally it says that it is activated. The next time you log in from an unrecognized browser or device, you'll need to provide a two-factor authentication code. So we're done. We've set that up. So now I can go back to my dashboard and I can create a new repository, and I'll just call this test. It can be public. I don't care. Create a repository. So now I say, okay, how do you want to do this? I'm going to push an existing one. I'm just going to make one real quick and then push an existing one from the command line. So I'm inside this little folder. This is a GitHub test. I'm just going to git init. I'm going to touch, I'll just do a readme.md. And on that README, I'll just put test README. And save that. So now, if you remember from when we talked in class, we can do git status. We can see that there's this README. So I'm going to git add. I'm just going to add all git commit with the message of initial commit. And if I do git status now, we can see that it's clean. I'm on the main branch, so on and so forth. So GitHub gives us the code to push an existing repository from the command line. So you can just copy all these and run them as one. I'm going to do them one at a time just so you can see it. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in there, add origin, boom. Then I'm going to create a new branch called main. Then I'm going to push to main, boom. And this is where it's going to ask me if there's an error, there's a problem. Row permission denied. That's because I'm currently logged in as my main account, Mr. Bastine, not my test account over here. So it's a 403 error, which says that you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that. So the reason for that is because I have stored my credentials because I'm lazy. On a Mac, to clear the credentials, you have to type git credential -osx keychain erase. I spelled it wrong. And then host equals github.com, and protocol is going to be HTTPS. Enter, and then you have to hit enter again. So now if I run that same command, let me go back and copy this. I don't remember if I still have it copied or not. Paste it in there. Still not going to work, but this time it's different. Support for password authentication was removed. Use personal access token instead. See this for more information. So we're getting a different error, which means that I'm no longer authenticated with my Mr. Bastine account. I'm now not authenticated at all. So we're going to do exactly what that says. Okay, what do we do? Let's see, I'm going to close that down and just paste this in here. Token authentication. So what do you need to do? Enabling two-factor authentication. We did that. We did that together. Personal access token for operations via Git and third-party integrations. So we've done this. So we've already configured that. All did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. We did all this. Did all this. Did all this. Saved our recovery codes. We're not doing the text messages. So now, actually, I'm just going to come over here, and we need to access GitHub with two-factor authentication. So we're not going to worry about signing into the website, because that's obvious. We need with the command line. After you enable 2FA, you must use a personal access token or SSH key instead of your password when accessing GitHub on the command line. We're going to use a personal access token. So after you've enabled that, you must create a personal access token. When prompted for username and password on the command line, use your GitHub username and personal access token. So creating a personal access token. Here we go. So creating a token. Verify your email address. We already did that. In the upper right-hand corner of the page, click your profile photo, then click Settings. So let me go here, click my profile photo, then click Settings. Did that. In the left sidebar, click Developer Settings. So where are my developer settings? There they are. Click Personal Access Token. Click Generate New Token. Give it a descriptive name. And in the real world, what you would want to do is create a different token for each project that you're working on. However, for this, we can just do CS-290 or something like that. Expiration. You can set your expiration to whatever. Again, in the real world, for security purposes, you would want to set this to the most restrictive. I'm going to do this one to no expiration. Yes, tokens that live forever are scary. Expiration is highly recommended. Again, in the real world, don't do no expiration. Set it to a set of days, and you'll just have to do this process again every 90 days or whatever. But this will keep your account safer. But again, we're in school. We don't really care right now. When you get out, you're going to be creating your own stuff anyway. So I'm just going to set this to no expiration and then remember later to come back. So select the scope for permission you want to grant this token. To use token to access repositories from the command line, select repo. So we need to access repo. You can also give other things, but we don't need any of these things for what we're doing. We just need the repo and all of the repo things. And then we're going to generate our token. And you can see here that I've blocked out the token because obviously this is a password. I mean, a token is a password, or just like a password. So we generated our token, and here it tells you, treat your tokens like passwords, keep them secret. When working with the API, use tokens as environment variables instead of hard coding them into your programs. So how to use a token on the command line? All right, well, we are going to, instead of your password, when performing Git operations over HTTPS. So to do that, we want to do git config --system credential TIAL.helper. And that right now is nothing, which is what we want. So we got system, we're doing the same thing except we want to do --unset credential helper. It looks like I need to sudo that. All right. Now let's try git push origin main. Username, this is what we want. Put in my username, and then for the password, I'm going to copy my personal access token, paste it in there, hit enter, and there we go. It worked. So that's kind of a long, convoluted workaround to make it work, but GitHub instituted this or implemented this as a way to basically require people to be more secure. They're requiring two-factor authentication. They are requiring personal access tokens for any type of command line access. And it's a long, as I mentioned, convoluted process to get it done, but I walked you through it. Hopefully that helps and gets it done. If you are on Windows, you're going to have to do pretty much the same thing. It's a little bit different when you're having it like unsetting your username and password. You have to do a little bit of Googling. Check out Stack Overflow for that, because Windows stores credentials differently than macOS and Linux does. But that's what you want to get down to. You want to create two-factor authentication, set it up with the, like I said, I use Authy, but there's several that you could use. Then once you've got that done, create a personal access token, and then use that token to sign in. Your username is still your username, as always, but your password is not your actual password to your account. It is that token that you generated, that personal access token. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this token. I understand, delete this token. Because again, I don't want anybody to access this. Personal access tokens are like passwords. So in case that password was seen by anybody, in case I missed a frame or something, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. As always, if you have questions, let me know, and I will be happy to help.